Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am doing a hair video, I know, but I've been getting a lot of questions about these kinky distressed faux locks, and I thought I'd make a video explaining my techniques and tips that I don't see on YouTube that I think you guys should know, even for your future protective styles. So if you want to learn, just stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back. So today, as you saw, this video is not about makeup. It's actually gonna be about these locks you see here. I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to get these like kinky distressed locks because I've been getting a lot of questions about them. And so I figured I might as well turn it into a video. So if you want to see how I turned this crochet lock into this, just keep on watching. As you saw, I picked up a crochet lock here. So this is what it looks like. Has a loop there for the crochet, and these were originally 14 inches, and I did distress the bottom. I kind of just took the bottom and folded it up and kind of pulled it apart. So I'll be going more into how I did that later, but I got these from Amazon and I'll link everything below, but these are what they look like. We'll get into how we do that. Then you'll need the wrapping hair. Now the wrapping hair that I got, I didn't get like the smooth wavy hair that I know a lot of people use for the distress locks. I actually got the Afro spring hair, not the traditional spring hair. And the Afro spring hair is what gives me more of this kinkier texture that you see, where it's not super smooth. It's highly textured. It literally just looks like my texture of my hair. So that's what that looks like here. So this is the Afro kinky texture, and it has like little curly cues at the bottom. So those are great because they kind of stick out and they make everything look just so much more natural. Lastly, you'll need a crochet. They actually sent this with the locks. And then lastly, you'll need like a comb and clip so that you can get your parts in order. Also, I did use like the mango and lime like blocking gel while I was wrapping. And I used jam to kind of like keep my hair in place when I was making my parts. Those are optional items. They're not necessary when you're making like your plaits with your real hair, but it does help kind of keep everything neat and for a longer period of time. If that's something that you're interested in, I'll link those things also below. Okay, you guys, so we're gonna get right into it. I'm just developing a plait so I can have a foundation for my crochet locks and also the wrapping Afro twist hair. I'm making sure that the base is taut so that it doesn't unravel quickly. If you have shorter hair in the back though, you should probably add some like fake braiding hair, synthetic braiding hair to help stabilize it. So now I'm taking that crochet lock, and as you see, I'm going to show you how I got that distressed kind of bottom half. So what I did was I unraveled the bottom, like untwisted it in the opposite way it was wrapped, and I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to actually twist it back up the lock. So I'm twisting it back up following the same pattern. Like you can see the direction that it wants to go, like as far as being wrapped, and I'm just twisting it upwards. And yeah, I'm just making sure that it looks flush with the rest of the lock. And then you'll have that result. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of pinch them between my fingers, and I'm going to start to tug at the hairs. So I'm literally distressing the strands and pulling away from the base of the crochet lock to create that messy, distressed look. Now, if you don't plan on wrapping your locks, this is going to be very important because you could get the distressed look just on your crochets and you could be done with it without having to wrap them. So as you see, I'm wrapping up halfway. You see I'm saying no, you don't want to distress the whole way because you need that first half intact so that you can wrap your real hair from the plait in it and it'll stay closed. You don't want to mess that part up. So now it's time to put the crochet lock and interlock it into the plait. So now this locking technique I'm going to show you is actually very important. So what I'm showing you right now is the direction you want to go, which is sideways or horizontally. That's going to be very important to how you're not lays. You want to go in horizontally on the plait. You don't want to go up or diagonally because it's not going to lay correctly once you wrap it. So to the side. Yep, to the side. So I'm going to latch that loop onto the hook. I'm going to close that latch there. Bring it through. And then you're going to see I'm going to go over that plait. And I'm going to bring that lock straight through there. And I'll make sure it's enough room because remember, we distressed the bottom, so I don't want it to be too tight and mess up the bottom. We're going to bring that through. And you see how tight that inner lock is? You see how there's no bulge or like bulbous like base there? It looks flush. So what that's going to do is help when we wrap. So you see the direction in which the crochet is supposed to wrap? We're going to help disguise that little latch there. And we're going to wrap right on top of it. So I'm spreading the hair out. And what I'm doing is trying to make sure it lays flat and wrapping right over that latch. Again, wrapping right over that latch and making sure I'm stabilizing the hair and keeping it flat so that it looks flush, like we literally put in a real lock braid. So yeah, I'm just continuing that all the way down. Remember, we kept that first half perfectly fine so that we can wrap your real hair in the lock and it won't detach or get messed up. So now we have that in. You see how seamless that looks? That's going to be really important for how your locks grow out later. So now we got the wrapping hair. This is the Afro spring twist. I'm going to be splitting it into two because I'm going to use one half in the first part and then the second half in the second part. So yeah, I'm going to take that same technique. I'm going to twist that hair up so that it's a little bit more like thin, so it'll stick on, all the strands will stick on the latch. And I'm still going to take it to the side. Again, I'm going to take it to the side because the same way we wrap that crochet lock around the lock from left to right, we're going to do the same thing with the wrapping hair. So again, if you want it to lay seamless, you want to crochet in the direction that the hair is going to flow. So I hope that makes sense. So you're going to crochet as far as the interlocking. You're going to make sure you interlock in the direction in which your hair is going to be wrapped, which is going to be left to right. So now I'm taking that hair, I'm making it shorter on one side, as you see there. And what I'm doing with that shorter part is I'm actually going to pull it apart a little bit, and I'm going to kind of wrap it around the lock. This is going to add extra texture so that when you get that distressed look, you still have some of the texture from underneath peeking through. And it's just going to add even more. So same thing, I'm going to start with the base of the lock, and I'm going to keep this pretty tight. I'm not going to start distressing until a little bit further down. I'm going to keep it flat and pretty taut at the base. This is going to help to keep the lock stable so that it doesn't slip out or anything like that. And you don't have to worry about anything unraveling. So now we're done with that, right? Now we're going to get into the distress part. So you see, this is very important. You see that thumb I put up under there? That's what's going to help to create those loops. I'm going to double play it again. That thumb is what's going to create those loops of distress that you see on the lock. What I'm doing is I'm pulling some of the hair forward so that when I wrap around, some of that hair is going to be sticking out. And that's what's going to create those distress like gaps of loose hair hanging out or kind of like bunching out of the lock. Okay, so that's going to be your point to remember, is you want to wrap a little bit over your thumb. Now you can skip and alternate, like do one full wrap and then one with the thumb distress wrap like you saw me do there. it's up to you at that point. Once you get that technique down, as you see, you can just get going and you'll see that distressed pattern will start to flow through. And yeah, so we're just going to continue down until we're done with that first piece of hair, right? And I do have a little bit left over, so I'm taking that piece and then starting to wrap with that. So now we're done with the first part. Now we're going to get down to the last part. I always leave a little bit of the first part down, and then I'm going to take that last part and make sure it's even with the length of the lock. I'm going to wrap upwards first to kind of lock that last piece of hair in, and then downwards, and then continue that thumb technique of pulling a little bit as I wrap around. I'm going to continue all the way down to the bottom. And you should have a little bit of hair left over, and you can either wrap that back up. What I like to do is take that little bit of hair and I like to tie a knot around the lock. I wrap it around with my finger and then just pull the rest of the hair around and through the loop. Yep, so you just pull it through. And then what I like to do is take the rest of that excess hair, wrap it around. And then I'm going to kind of like rub and palm roll the remaining in my hand. Yep, there we go. So I'm going to palm roll that and kind of make it look seamless. So boom, it looks like you don't see a knot, you don't see any burning, nothing. It just looks cohesive. So that's what we want. So that's pretty much your lock. That's how it's going to look. You'll have that different pattern going on where it's the inconsistencies of the strands being pulled either way from the lock. All right, y'all, so that would be the finished look. This would be the effect. Now keep in mind that with Crochet Locs, you see how short we started off at, and you see how long it got. Keep in mind that the Crochet Loc is going to stretch as you're like pulling and distressing the wrapping hand around it. My locks actually started off, like the Crochet Locs actually started off where this one is, my short one now, which is literally like right at the end of my neck. But now I have more of a longer bob, and it's more so like right before my underarm. So just keep that in mind, that if you're considering length, that do shorter if you want shorter, because the longer your lock is, even longer it's gonna be once you wrap it. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to let me know in the comments, because I want to know if I helped you guys do this. You can do this on yourself. So if you or anyone else, if you want to share it with someone else, that would be great. But stay tuned for the next video. It will be about makeup. So thank you so much for watching, and just remember, I got you.